Brazilian Jiu Jitsu was first introduced to the world as being the most effective style of ground fighting for realistic combat. Its strongest appeal to the world was its effectiveness, which could allow a smaller man to submit a larger opponent using leverage-based techniques. As the art and artists who practice it sought out more venues to prepare themselves and refine their techniques, competitions emerged and rules were introduced, evolving the art into a sport. It is very rare, however, that at the highest level of the sport, you still see the smallest martial artist or competitor competing and winning at the elite being outweighed by a significant amount. Unless you're watching a Marcelo Garcia match, of course. Marcelo Garcia broke the mold and exemplifies the efficiency of the grappling art. Through his many historic battles, when one thinks of the small competitor defeating a larger one, Marcelo is always in the midst of those conversations. A winner of countless titles in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, it was, however, Marcelo's victories at the ADCC events that garnered him the most notoriety in his legacy, not only because of the names of his opponents who he defeated, but through the introduction of several techniques that Marcelo implemented, such as the single leg X-guard position, the X-guard, arm drag, his guillotines, and of course his epic back takes that ended normally with a rear naked choke. Marcelo's ADCC journey began at the 2003 trials in Brazil. Garcia, who had recently moved from Minas Gerais to Sao Paulo to train under Fabio Gurgel, was part of the new generation of the Alliance Jiu Jitsu team of that era during the post-major Alliance team breakup, which saw many of its top athletes venture off to form their own teams, such as Master, TT, and Braza. Nonetheless, the young Mineiro represented the Alliance Eagle for an attempt to represent Brazil at the upcoming 2003 ADCC World Championship and change the face of our sport forever. Throughout his matches, a relatively unknown Marcelo, who was still a brown belt at the time, submitted multiple opponents using a wide variety of techniques. Unfortunately, he fell short in the finals against Daniel Moraes of Gracie Maitá, having lost the match by negative guard pull, losing 1 point. But Marcelo impressed the ADCC Federation so much with his technique and performances that they considered him as an alternate for the upcoming event. And as luck would have it, shortly before the ADCC event would make its debut in Sao Paulo, Marcelo got the call. In Marcelo's first match, he faced off against Japan's Kyumu Kunioka, and in less than 2.5 minutes, submitted him with what would become his patented combination: arm drag, back take, and rear naked choke. In Marcelo's second match, not only would he be facing off against one of the sport's biggest icon, but a 2-time ADCC champion, Renzo Gracie, a man who has competed and won in gi, no gi, and MMA at the highest level. But the name Gracie did not intimidate Marcelo, or at least he didn't show it, as Marcelo did something that had never been done to Renzo in ADCC prior to this match. He was able to surprise him multiple times with his techniques. From his X-guard sweeps to his passing and back take, Marcelo controlled Renzo for the majority of the match, earning him the victory. And that match had everyone in attendance guessing just who was this guy and where did he come from. In Marcelo's third match, he was set to face off against another jiu-jitsu legend, Vitor Shaolin Ribeiro of Team Novo União, who had what many considered the best no-gi wrestling game in the sport. But lightning struck a third time. Marcelo quickly arm dragged Shaolin, hopped to his back, and secured a rear naked choke that put Shaolin to sleep. Not only did Marcelo do something that no other grappler had done, but he did it in record time against one of the favorites to win the 77 kilo division. As Marcelo moved on to the finals, he was set to face off against Otto Olsen. Otto had defeated Marcelo's former teammate and training partner Fernando Tereré in the opening rounds with superior wrestling, but Marcelo stuck to his game plan and attacked from start to finish, eventually leaping onto Olsen's back to secure a rear naked choke and his first ever ADCC gold medal. Marcelo's win at ADCC sent shockwaves worldwide, and as fate would have it, Marcelo volunteered to compete in the absolute division as well that year, something he had done several times before competing in gi tournaments throughout Brazil. His first round opponent was none other than American wrestler Mike Van Arsdale. Van Arsdale was a savage MMA fighter who had wins over a handful of BJJ black belts. But in Marcelo's backyard, Van Arsdale could not handle the nuances of this fast-paced new style of jiu-jitsu, which was a large contrast to the passive styles Van Arsdale had defeated. And much like his other opponents, Marcelo utilized a lightning-fast arm drag, this time from the bottom, and leapt onto the wrestler's back, securing the choke once again. With heads shaking in disbelief and astonishment, Marcelo moved on to the next round. Unfortunately, he faced the larger world champion in Marcelo Cruz and was defeated. However, he became the fan favorite of the event and was awarded the title Most Technical Grappler of the event by the ADCC committee. Marcelo's ADCC career continued on for 4 more editions, getting the gold medal in 2005 in California, 2007 in New Jersey, and back again in 2011 in the UK. Although Marcelo was unable to win the absolute title, his matches at ADCC will always be remembered as some of the most amazing in our sport. Through his epic match with Rico Rodriguez, to his rivalry with Pablo Popovich, or his 2 clashes with Chrome Gracie, outweighed several times but never outmatched severely by technique, Marcelo was one of ADCC's most memorable champions. He introduced a new wave of techniques to the No Gi BJJ game and captured the hearts and intrigued the minds of grapplers all over the world. Marcelo embodies what Jiu-Jitsu is about. Through his technique in competition to his gentle demeanor, he's one of the sport's greatest representatives and an ADCC legend. Only time will tell if we'll ever see him compete on the ADCC mats again, but even if he chooses not to, he will have left a legacy for us that will be forever remembered and cherished.